In this video, you're going to learn how to play Blackbird by the Beatles. This is a great finger-picking song, and it's not too hard, so let's jump right in. The first chord you're going to play is a G chord, but you don't need the whole chord. In fact, you just need one finger of your left hand. So we're going to take our ring finger of our left hand on the 3rd fret of the low E string, and that's all you need. Just make sure you're not touching any other strings because we need them to be open. Now with your right hand, there's going to be 2 different picking patterns that we use in this song. There's a simple one and there's a complex one. And for this first chord, we're going to use this simple one. Let me show you how that goes. So you're going to take your thumb on the low E string, and then your middle finger on the B string, and you're going to pluck those together. All right? Followed by the G string with your index finger. So if you put that together, it sounds like this. That's it. And then the second chord we're going to play is going to have just your pointer finger of your left hand on the 1st fret of the B string, and with your right hand you're going to pluck the A string with your thumb, the B string with your middle finger, those 2 together, followed by the G string with your index finger by itself. And then we're going to move up to 2 and 3. 2 on the A string, 3 on the B string. I'm using my index finger for the 2 on the A and my pinky for the B string, but you could also use your ring finger for the B string if that's more comfortable for you. We're going to also use the same simple picking pattern on this chord as well. So far we have this. Now we're going to jump up high and we're going to use the complex picking pattern. Let me show you what this is going to sound like first. Okay, so it's a little bit different. To show you where the chord is, your index finger is going to be on the 10th fret of the A string, and your pinky is going to be on the 12th fret of the B string. And that complex pattern that I just played, that was actually 2 times in a row, so let's isolate just one instance of that pattern so you can see what's going on. All right, so let's break that down. So we're going to start by playing the A and the B strings together, followed by the G string and then the B string separately. And then the last thing is you play all 3 strings that you've just played in order, A, G, B. Okay, so you play A and B together, and then G, then B separately, and then A, G, B in a row. So it's both G, B, A, G, B. Both G, B, A, G, B, and the timing is 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So that's the complex picking pattern. Then the next thing we're going to do is we go down to the 3rd fret of the A with the 5th fret of the B, and we go back to that simple pattern. And then we're going to move to the 4th fret of the A with your middle finger, and the 3rd fret of the high E string, which is the first time we've used that one in this song. And we're going to play the simple pattern. Now notice with your right hand you have to make an adjustment to make sure that you're plucking the A and now the high E string, followed by the G string open. So let's go back and look at those 2 chords. Now we're going to take that exact same transition that we did and scoot up 2 frets and do it again. So now we're on 5 and 7, and then 6 and 5. So it sounds like this. So if we look at all 4 of those chords in a row, it's a walk up, and it sounds like this. Anytime you can recognize a pattern like that, it just makes it easier to remember. And then after you end here on 6 and 5, you're going to scoot up 1 more fret, so your middle finger's on 7 on the A string, and then you're going to add your pinky on 8 on the B string and play the complex picking pattern. And then that A note is going to drop down 1 fret, and you're just going to use your index finger for that. Now we're on 6 and 8. And then we scoot down 1 fret with that same exact shape, and we're going to go back to the simple pattern. And then we're going to walk down to this 4 on the A, 3 on the high E shape. That should be familiar because we just used it on the way up. We're going to use the simple pattern there. Then we're going to go to 3 and 5, and we're going to go back to the complex pattern. Then that B string note drops down 1 fret to the 4th fret. Then we scoot this whole shape down 1 fret, still on the complex pattern. And then we're going to open up the A string, and we're just going to push down the 2nd fret of the B string. I switch to my index finger here, but you could use really any finger, as long as it sounds good. And we're going to use the complex pattern. We scoot down 1 more fret to the 1st fret of the B string, but the bass note changes here. So we've been using a lot of the A string bass note. Now the bass note is going to be on the D string. So our complex pattern is going to be using the D, the G, and the B string instead of the A, the G, and the B string. So it'll sound like this. And then we go back to the chord that we started on at the very beginning, the G chord, with just the 1 finger, the ring finger on the 3rd fret of the low E, but we're going to use the complex pattern this time. Okay, so that's pretty much the verse. The other section, the other main section of the song is the chorus, and so we're going to jump into that now. Going to go up to the 8th fret of the A string and the 10th fret of the B string, and I'm using my index finger and my pinky for this. And we're going to start with the simple picking pattern, and we're going to do a walk down, and then it kind of walks back up a little bit. So here's how that part goes. 8 and 10, then 7 and 8, then 5 and 6, then 3 and 5. And we go all the way down to 1 and 3, and we're switching to the complex pattern. Right back to 3 and 5 with complex. The thing I love about this section of the song is that you can keep the same fingers on the same string and just adjust if you're 2 frets apart or 1 fret apart depending on the chord. So we start off 8, 10, then we squeeze them together a little bit for 7, 8, 5, 6, then we stretch them back out for 3, 5, 1, 3. But the whole time we're basically just kind of scooting our hand up and down the fretboard. We don't have to change the order of our fingers or anything else. So that is the first round of the chorus. The second time through, it stays exactly the same up until the point where you get to the 1 and the 3, and it changes a little bit there. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So it starts on 8 and 10 with the simple pattern, 7 and 8 simple, 5 and 6 simple, 3 and 5 simple, 1 and 3 complex. So far all of that is exactly the same as what we just played, but here's where it changes. You go down to 0, 2. So 0 on the A, 2 on the B with the complex pattern. And then 1 on the B with the root note moving to the D string, which we did just a minute ago, but now with the complex pattern. And then it goes back to the G and it starts over at the beginning of the intro pattern. Okay, so those are the 2 main parts. You've got the verse, which is the same exact thing that's used for the intro, and then you have the chorus. There are a couple of other pieces that kind of connect those 2 sections, some interludes and some turnarounds, but they actually use some of the same patterns and chords that we've already learned. I'm going to have all that in the PDF that you can download for free in case you want to learn the song all the way from the beginning to the end, which I know you do. But before you look, I would challenge you to test your ear and see if, now that you know all the different pieces of the puzzle, if you can put them together yourself just by listening to the song and figuring out what fits where and how you can put the verse and the interludes together with the chorus to complete the song. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Leave me some comments, let me know what questions you have and what songs you'd like to learn. And this has been a video from Mason Music here in Birmingham, Alabama. I hope you enjoyed. I'm Will Mason. Rock on.